What's good, y'all? It's your boogie here. We got another LT sports news, and yep, that's the name we came up with at the end of last episode of AFC Playoff Talk. If you haven't seen that yet, then I suggest you go check it out. You know, uh, go see our AFC Playoff predictions and explanations. It's a good watch. Trust me, it's pretty interesting. All right, so Um, NFC playoffs. First matchup, I believe. I'm not. I'm pretty sure. Seattle at Atlanta. Dustin, who are you taking for this matchup?
Uh, this is just like the Pittsburgh versus Kansas City match.
Hmm.
But I'm still going with the home team. I'm going Atlanta.
Okay.
So they had a matchup earlier this season, right?
Yeah. Oh,
I
the setup was
think
great.
Atlanta should have won. There was a flag at the end that should have been called, on Julio. It was getting held by Richard, but
Hmm.
that's a different topic. And that game ended at 26-24. And this is at Atlanta now. And Matt Ryan, he's been looking pretty good. Seattle,
they don't
they
get.
lost Earl
They don't.
Thomas.
They don't get their cheap calls when they're at home. They get the refs on their side. They don't get that tonight or
Yeah,
tomorrow.
exactly. So
Yep.
Earl
As you
Thomas
guys
is
know,
gone.
yeah, as you guys know, I'm a Detroit Lions fan. If you watch my channel, Jaboogie, I obviously was not okay with the officiating of that game. And the time we were there last year, we lost because of officiating. I'm sure you remember that, Dustin.
I remember.
Spectacular play by Cam Chancellor, but it still should have been our ball coming back. So, but that's just that 12th man advantage. You know what I mean? But this is in Atlanta. I see what you're saying. So, Nana, who are you gonna take for this one?
Man, I trust my boy Julio Jones. I'm gonna have to go with Atlanta for this one.
Okay, all right. So, Nate, who are you taking?
Right now I want to take the Seahawks.
Seahawks. All right. All right. So, since you're the lone wolf, let's see what you're thinking. Why are you gonna take Seattle? I mean, they're without Earl Thomas. They have a great defense, but they're without Earl Thomas.
Well, I mean Seahawks. Honestly, they have a smart quarterback, and in their games they do pretty well. I say right now their problem is that yes, they're missing a few key parts of their team, like you said, Earl Thomas. But in the end of the game, it really comes down who's the smarter team. And I feel like even though Pete Carroll with his dumb self, most of the time, still the team can make good plays because of Russell Wilson. But then you gotta really think about their defense and if it's really going to be all that good this time, which I don't know. That's questionable.
Okay. All right. So, Nana and Dustin, you guys are not going for Seattle here. You're gonna take Atlanta, the home team. What are you guys gonna say about that? What do you guys have to say?
Uh,
Well,
yeah, you can go now.
well, right now I'm looking at Matt Ryan's yards right now. He has 4,900 passing yards. That's second in passing leaders right now.
Okay,
I
that's
think
that's good yards. That's really good yards. Almost 500,
he's
5,000.
gonna have a lot to show against Seattle's defense. Not really. He's not really gonna worry about Richard Sherman. I mean, he should, but I don't feel like he's going to be worried about them. I think he's going to be using his tight ends a lot more and waiting for Julio Jones to get that perfect opportunity because Julio Jones also, he has some pretty good stats. He has 1,400 in yards right now.
And
That's
also, you,
second.
and also, you have to say he missed a couple games. So,
That's true. That's true. He did miss a couple games.
and he still led. So that's good.
Yeah, that's
That's
very
that's
impressive.
that's a good point there. Dustin, what do you have to say for Atlanta?
Well, their defense is pretty trash, to be honest. They do have
Well,
Vic Beasley.
yeah, I have to disagree. I mean, in my opinion, it's one of the more underrated defenses. You know,
I
the D line, Babineau, he's holding it down his part. Vic Beasley, we all know he's beastly. Um, Desmond Trufant, he's not necessarily the corner he was last year, but I still think he's a solid corner. And versus those Seattle receivers, there's not a great, you know, I don't think it's a great receiving core, but I think Atlanta's secondary can hold that down. And obviously, Atlanta's offense, I think, is gonna blow past. So
Yeah, so like uh, Seahawks defense, I think is better than Atlanta's defense.
clearly
But then
oh, for
Falcons
sure,
offense is just fucking out of their mind.
yeah.
So again, I'm going
they're
with home field.
let's forget that they're underrated. Like no one really, sports fans don't really focus on the Falcons.
Yeah.
But with Atlanta, I mean, like you said, their defense is trash, but their offense has been amazing, and that's what allowed them for a lot of their games this season to be high scoring games. That's how they're averaging, first and second. They're like the top five right now in a lot of their stats for offense, rushing yards, pass yards, points per game, and all that, because their offense can generate the points, but their defense is letting a lot of points.
Mhm.
So the offense honestly just needs to make sure that they outscore the other team because they can't put trust in their defense.
Okay.
I mean,
And
that's how
you
every other team though. You can't keep relying on your defense to say, "Oh, I'm going to hold them at 3 points while I can score 7 and then win the game." No team is going to do that because that's just not right. That's not how the NFL works. So every team should be doing that. It, it just doesn't matter that kind of a point.
Okay.
And with their stats, I still think they're gonna outscore this Seattle, no matter
And what
their
about
defense.
you, Joe?
I'm gonna take Atlanta. Um, like you guys said, the offense easily the best offense. If you're competing with, I mean, not maybe not the best, but it's top three, and they're only competing with Dallas and New England. That's the only offense I see them really competing with, or the only two others that are competing with them. Running over Seattle's defense, that's a for sure. Like you said, Dustin, earlier this year they were ripped off, um, and lost by two. And this time, it's not in Seattle. They don't have their 12th man referee, and they're missing a safety, one of their key players, Earl Thomas. Okay, and that's gonna hurt them a lot. And one reason I feel they were able to get past Detroit with that was the receiving. It wasn't there. They have good receivers. Marvin Jones and Golden Tate are good receivers, and there were some plays where they were able to bust out against Seattle, but you know, Seattle if they I feel like Atlanta's going to get more of those Detroit bust out plays as more typical plays that's going to happen to them. I feel like they're going to float on the field pretty easily. Um maybe a few third downs, but I feel they're going to convert over 50% on those. Um if they end up getting there. I'm going to predict I'm going to say Atlanta at least wins by 10, and
Oh shit.
I'm going to say they reach the 30s. They're going to reach the 30s. Seattle's going to be somewhere in the 20s. What are you going to say for a score, kind of, Dustin?
Uh, I'm going 27, 27-21.
Okay. And you're taking Atlanta, obviously, so.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Nate, what is your score prediction?
I'm saying another close game. I mean, with the last game that they had, 24-26, I'm saying something about where they're only going to win maybe by a touchdown or maybe just a field goal. So, and yet and still there'll be a high scoring. So I'll probably say 21-24.
Oh,
Seahawks win by a field goal.
okay. You think it'll come down to a last-minute field goal?
No,
I'm pretty sure.
All
I don't
right.
Pretty
see that
sure,
happening.
man.
Derek would love to hear that. All right. So Nana, what are you saying? What's your score?
I mean, I don't think either team is gonna go past 30 points, to be honest, because as good as the Falcons' offense is doing, I still think Seattle's defense is gonna try their hardest to keep them at a pretty standard level. So I'm gonna say 27-24
Okay.
the Falcons.
All right. So that's gonna do it for Atlanta and Seattle. I'm gonna give Atlanta the win here, 4-2. You know, we had great points. I'm not going to really reiterate because we kind of reiterated it a few times. Their offense overpowers Seattle's defense. Seattle defense is all right. You know, that's how you got your 2 Seattle points versus Atlanta's 4 points. But it was basically within that range. 1 defensive point for Atlanta, 3 offensive basically, and both were some. One was one offensive and one was defensive for Seattle. But let's move on here. Green Bay at Dallas. All right, you know, again, I'm gonna start this off. I'm a Detroit Lions fan, and I wasn't when they were 4-6. I'm talking about the Packers. When they were 4-6, I wasn't trying to hear none of that Aaron Rodgers run the table shit. All right, I wasn't trying to hear any of that. But obviously, they did it. They came back, won all those games, won the division, which breaks my heart still, and even beat the Giants, who I wanted the Giants to win. So we're gonna say, Dustin, are they running the table this game?
Green Bay is running the table.
Okay.
Well, you see, it's not going to be like a blowout or anything. The Cowboys are still a 13-3 team this season.
Hey, but if they win, they're still running the table. So
Like, yeah, Green Bay has been on what, a 7-game win streak,
something like that.
and they just beat the Giants. People thought Giants were going to win.
I
Fuck
thought the
no.
Giants were gonna win, man.
Yeah,
You know,
Aaron Rodgers too good.
he is.
I mean, I guess Adele's never seen the playoffs before, and that's why his performance was pretty low that game.
Yeah.
Same with, I mean, Victor Cruz could have done a lot better as a Super Bowl champion. He could have done a lot that game also.
Yeah. All right. So Nana, are you saying Green Bay's gonna run the table?
Yep, and I feel that it's gonna be a blowout. It's gonna be something we've never seen.
Oh shit. So you're saying some?
Yeah,
Jeez,
yeah.
man.
All right. Would you guys, if you had a bet, would you bet that there's gonna be an Aaron Rodgers Hail Mary in this game?
Yes.
100%.
And you feel
Totally.
it would
I
work?
wouldn't doubt that.
All
It's
right.
gonna
So,
work. I always think it won't, and it ends up working. So
all
gonna
right.
work.
So Nate, is Green Bay gonna run the table, or is it gonna be Dallas?
Man, honestly, I feel Dallas could win this game.
Okay. And you know, you're 2-1, but this time you can make a good case here. You know, Dallas, a great team. You know, obviously best record in the NFC, almost the best record in the league. But you know, the almighty Patriots, only one loss for Tom Brady, one loss for Jacoby Brissett. But you know, it is what it is. Um, what are you saying about that? What are you gonna? How are you gonna defend yourself? Cowboys winning the game.
Well, I feel like the Cowboys could win the game because right now, even with Pittsburgh, they have top tier players for their offense that can score. Their offensive line has been keeping them good from getting big hits, and so
You talking about
far, I
Dallas?
mean, also, yeah, Dallas.
Okay, you said Pittsburgh. You got me a little confused.
Well, I was talking about how Pittsburgh also has big players.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. So, all right. Back on Dallas. What were you saying?
But with Dallas, I mean, they have a pretty good defense. I mean, their team has made a pretty good come up with the young guys that they now have.
Mhm.
I just feel like going
Young guy.
against Green Bay. Green Bay's a unpredictable team. Sometimes they're doing really great, and other times not so much. And usually that depends on Aaron Rodgers' offense. It's not even their defense nor their special teams. It's a lot of times Aaron Rodgers' offense that's having to save the game for him.
And that's a case that I can see why Dallas could possibly win. Dallas has an amazing offense, and Green Bay's defense is hanging off of a cliff by a string. The cornerback depth is really jacked up. I'm pretty sure every starting is this right, Dustin? Every starting cornerback is out, or do they have one?
Oh, who the Packers?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know who their cornerbacks are,
I'm
bro.
pretty sure they're out, and they lost another one against Detroit. He had a neck injury. I don't know if you guys remember. He came down on that neck pretty hard, so they're down. They're weak. So I could see Ezekiel Elliott busting out, getting some runs, and this is playoff football. They were that was some regular season stuff. I can see them turning out for some playoff football, especially now that Tony Romo is not over here trying to run things. Because Tony Romo, I don't like Tony Romo's playoff luck, and nobody else does either. So,
Yeah, and right now I feel like at this point in between those two teams is either consistency versus probability. Because Green Bay, like I said, unpredictable. Sometimes hot, sometimes not. And Cowboys this season has been proven to be pretty consistent. They've been pretty consistent with winning games, getting points, and be able to stop the other team
mhm.
from scoring points.
And their kryptonite is
So,
out of the playoffs.
yes. And so, honestly, right now, it's either probability over consistency. I feel like consistency rules.
Okay. All right. So, what are you gonna say, Nana and Dustin? What do you guys got to say about defending Green Bay?
Well, last point. If Green Bay wins, I'm pretty much saying they're going to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
I don't care who comes out of the Falcons and Seattle game. I think Packers are going to win if
You don't
they
think
come out of this game.
you don't think if Atlanta wins with home field advantage that they can beat Green Bay?
I just have too much love for Aaron Rodgers, bro.
I
I'm
mean,
sorry.
if you think about it this way, you have Atlanta's offense going against Green Bay's defense. If we're talking about their offense tearing up Seattle, how would they not tear up Green Bay? I feel like it would be even more of a spanking.
I mean, like, I feel like Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback right now. With the offense, I think just because of him, the offense is the best right now.
I understand what you're saying,
But
but
you still can
but-
have a team
but-
off of just offense, though.
Okay,
you
but
cannot.
last time I
You
He
cannot. You cannot run a team with just offense. Okay?
No,
the
the Packers
defense
have been
needs
doing
to
that.
show up, and it's not showing up. Okay? It's not showing up. I understand you like Aaron Rodgers, this and that, but they got to show up. The defense has to show up, but who's gonna show up? There's no names. There's no names. I don't
And
see
not just
any
that,
names.
How
Clay Matthews?
and
Who
how
is that? He
Green
can't
Bay
even.
even
What is he
defend?
doing? They're not
You
gonna
see,
show
he's
up.
getting
Green Bay-
emotional now. He's getting
That's right.
emotional
I would-
Man, let's not
I
get
would-
emotional. You know what I'm saying?
because the
Also,
Lions
how
went
would
out.
Green Bay-
He's getting
How
emotional.
would Green Bay even defend with Des Bryant? I mean, Des Bryant's a big old wide receiver. He catches
doesn't
almost
matter.
over anybody. I mean, you can be
What are
as
they gonna do with
accurate as
Zeke?
Aaron Rodgers
Listen though,
or as
Des-
inaccurate as Trevor Simeon and get the ball to
760.
Des Bryant, and he'll still catch it.
All right, what do you got to say, Nana?
Des Bryant only has 796 yards. That's it. That's not very much.
In my opinion,
mean-
he showed up at the end of the season. But what do you got to say, Dustin?
I don't believe in Dez Bryant at all. I believe in Zeke and Dak, but I don't believe in Dez. So that's all I gotta say.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean Dak. He's. You guys got to admit that he's a team hero. As soon as they get a new quarterback instead of one that keeps breaking his back every playoffs, it's just
Okay.
he's the hero here. It's nobody else. I don't see anybody else being no hero. Dak Prescott, if he wins the Super Bowl, he's the MVP. Nobody else on that team deserves it other than him. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
All right, all right.
All right. So that's gonna, you know, and I'm gonna say this one's gonna. I'm gonna give this one to Nate, 3-2.
3 to
Um,
2. You see what you did, Dustin?
eh,
Talking about.
3 points to two. You know,
Let me get
I
one more
just
point. Let me get one more. Let me add one more.
okay. Who?
Dallas season
Yeah.
was so easy. Like any team could have proven themselves with Dallas season. They're
Wi-
gonna know what NFL looks like when they face Green Bay.
in their
They're
division, in their division, Nana. I
yes.
understand their division had one other playoff team and the other two, but the other, you know how it is to be in the NFC East, possibly one of the hardest,
No, 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 no,
one
no.
of
You
the
cannot.
hardest,
Okay,
because
look at the
the
AFC.
NFC East competes. They
Look
compete.
look at the
They
AFC.
compete.
That is the hardest.
No, no,
Look at
no.
the AFC.
Look,
That is the hardest division.
NFC East.
AFC guaranteed
NFC
is the hardest.
East. Okay? You have Washington and you have New
Okay,
York
how did they
and you
see?
have Philly. Okay? These teams may not be the sharpest teams that you look at on your
And that's what
schedule,
the
but they show up for division games. Any NFC division game is worth it. NFC East division game. It's worth watching because that's when they show up. So any team in an NFC East scenario, you have to suit up extra. And the fact that Dallas was able to pull that off and only lose, they lost 3 games. 3 games. And you know which all of them were? To their division. Their kryptonite, the New York Giants, who seem to be a kryptonite to everybody, and the Philadelphia Eagles. You know, it's not because
Aaron,
it's not because
Aaron Rodgers.
it's not because the Eagles are good. It's because it's an NFC East matchup. That's the power of the NFC East. Arguably one of the
No,
best
no,
divisions
No,
in
but
the
now you're
no.
NFC.
The Eagles, they didn't even fucking start. They didn't start their fucking.
It doesn't
Cowboys
matter.
did not start
It
anyone.
doesn't matter. They could they could step up. You have a franchise quarterback still with Tony Romo playing the game.
Okay, Tony Romo's over
That was
here.
their starter last year, and they all wanted to believe in this duck. They wanted to say, "Oh, Tony Romo's our future. We don't do anything without Tony Romo." But look at this. Look at this. What they went 3-1 last year with Romo. So he comes in this game and he doesn't pull off a win. And my explanation is it's NFC East. It's an NFC East matchup. They
All
come
I'm
at
saying,
you. They come at you.
that was a good experience, true NFL when they played
Especially,
Green.
especially when you're
Wait,
leading
why
the
the fuck
division.
are you bring up the NFC East? We're talking about Packers versus Cowboys.
Yeah,
Yes,
but he's over
and
here bringing
Aaron
up
Rodgers,
the fact
you can't say
that
that Aaron
they had
Rodgers
an
is not.
easy schedule. But they've got to deal with the whole NFC East. That's a tough division. So
You,
and you
okay,
know and you know
okay, let's say they face the Patriots. Who's gonna win? Obviously, the Patriots. They're not
well,
gonna say.
hey, not obviously. We haven't seen it. We didn't know. So if you want to see that in the
You're
Super Bowl, we're
saying
gonna
that
have that happen. It hasn't happened. We don't know. We'd have to
with
watch
their
it.
defense cannot handle Dallas. Is that what you're saying?
What?
What does Dallas have that could save them in this to go to the Super Bowl? What do they have other than their quarterback?
They
What do they have?
have a solid defense. All right.
Okay,
But they're
It's not the
consistent.
best. It's not the best, but it's
But it's
damn well. It
consistent.
is damn well
But
better
it's
than Green Bay.
consistent.
It's
Each
it is.
game
consistent.
they
And
bring
it's
to
consistent,
the
and you're
table
right, Nate.
consistency.
You're right. They're consistent. That's how they keep winning games because it's not just an offense. They can't just win on offense, and that's what you're trying to say Aaron Rodgers will do, which is why I
Because he has
disagree.
been.
I
Aaron
disagree.
Rodgers will expose that defense you call consistent. He will
Who?
wipe out all that.
Okay, all right. New
Aaron,
The
York.
fucking
New York.
NFC East
New
that you've been
York.
talking about.
New
Aaron
York.
Rodgers
That is
shit on him
it.
with what?
That is
Fucking
it. New
38?
York. That is the best defense they've played all year. You can't tell me they had a good defense against Detroit. You can't tell me Minnesota, Chicago, or anybody in their division was holding up a defense for them to say was good enough. Okay, a consistent defense for them to play.
okay,
Or
we're
at least
How are the
an
Cowboys?
offense and an
Are you telling me the
offense.
Cowboys
And you're
are better
telling
than the
me
Vikings
this.
on
And you're
defense?
telling me this. And their defense is able to hold up only because of the teams they're playing. This Detroit offense is crippled, it's messed up, it's unorganized, it needs to be fixed.
Wait a
Chicago
minute. We're
Bears,
not talking
that's
about
enough
You're
right
getting
there.
fucking emotional. I'm sorry.
Detroit.
It
We're
is
not
what
talking
it
about
is.
Detroit.
It is
Turn
what
your
it
mic
is.
off.
It is
We're
what
not talking
it is.
about Detroit. Hey, chill out, chill out. We're not
Dallas
talking
is
about
going to
Detroit.
win. Green Bay can't win it with
Talking-
just an offense. It is what it is. It's
Aaron
football. And you remember, you too, Dustin and Nana, your two favorite teams is the Denver Broncos, all right? Both of you, Denver Broncos. You know defense wins championships. What happened? You got blown out. By what? Defense. When you came to the Super Bowl last year and won, you know what happened? Defense.
No,
Defense.
no, that's
Do
what.
you remember
Bro,
Carolina?
you
Do
can't
you
compare the
remember
Broncos to the
Carolina?
Packers. Shut the
Do
fuck
you
up.
remember Carolina? They
Yeah,
were
what
coming
about?
in a hot offense. A
Same
very
what?
hot
Fuck.
offense. And
Look,
nobody was
He
thinking
ain't no
that Denver
Aaron Rodgers.
defense.
I don't give
Hey,
a fuck.
look
Cam
at Dallas.
Newton was a monster last year, and the numbers
Dak
he was putting up.
is the monster
Hey, you
now.
can compare him. I could say you can compare him. MVP season, he was doing more than just throwing it in the air. He was making it work in the air with half-ass receivers. Okay, he didn't even have his main guy. All right, he had guys who can drop the ball pretty well, and you could say, and he was running the ball too.
Okay,
Their
Dak
offense was
Prescott is doing the
amazing.
same exact thing with
But
the same
but
type,
but their
of
offense
lead, and look what's
couldn't beat
happening
that
to them.
Denver
They're gonna get
defense.
crushed,
You know
and it's gonna be
defense.
a story. They're gonna lose to Green Bay. It's gonna be an easy one for Green Bay. That's what I'm saying.
All right. All right.
I can't believe this motherfucker.
Well. All right. Well, let's get off. Let's end this off with the score prediction. Dustin, what's your prediction?
I started out saying it was going to be a close game, and I'm ending it like that. It's going to be 31 to 27.
Okay. All right. Nate, what are you gonna say?
Well, I feel like both teams can score, so probably a mid-scoring game. I'd say both teams would probably be close to 30. I'm going with probably 28-35, winning by a touchdown.
One touchdown. All right. What about you,
Yeah.
Nate?
27-14, Green Bay.
All right. I think I'm gonna have to take Dallas for this game.
Yeah.
Nah,
yeah.
shit.
I'm gonna say
Okay,
mid-scoring.
just because
It's gonna be
beat
in the
Detroit,
20s. It's
he
gonna
doesn't
be in
win
the
anything.
they both beat Detroit, so I can have some hard feelings for both of them. You know. I'm gonna say, let's see. I'd say about 21 to 27. 2 field goals for the Dallas offense, and 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns for Aaron Rodgers. There you go. If you like that. That's it for today, guys. It's me, Boogie. We got Dustin, Nate, and Nana here. And this was LTSN. We'll catch you next time with some Denver Broncos coaching talk. Dustin and Nana have got some things to say about this situation. We'll see you next time. We out.